Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and it's been far too long since we've done a puzzle by Marty Sears, so I'm going to try and put that right today by having a go at Not On, which is N-O-T-O-N, and having read the rules, I think that is deliberately palindromic. There seems to be a hidden palindrome in the grid that we're going to have to discover, yeah, the rules are quite interesting, as usual with many of Marty's puzzles. One of these incredible brains that inhabit the world of Sudoku. And I think this has got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so hopefully not too monstrous. But we'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. Before we kick off, let's talk about some other things that are going on. We've just ticked over into August. And that means there was a brand new competition launched on the 1st of the month over on Patreon. Let's have a look at where this is all in the wrong place. Let's have a look at where we are in terms of solvers. So this was a day or so ago. Ignore that 44 minutes ago. That's when I think I last refreshed it. So when we last did a refresh on the league table from the Sudoku Hunt, you can see 747 patrons had solved the first puzzle and 70 had solved all the puzzles. Let's see where this is now. 747 and 70. Look at this. 1,200 people have solved the first puzzle and 225 have solved all of them. Really well done to all those of you who've managed to make your way through all the puzzles. That is terrific solving. It really is, in just a few days. And if you haven't got involved yet, it's a Sudoku Hunt themed around the Persian legend Rostam. A bit like Hercules, I think. You know, the first was Rostam having to do battle with a lion, etc. Anyway, these Sudokus, they're all there right now. And if you can solve them all by the 20th of August, you'll be in with a chance of winning the competition, which will be to solve a puzzle with me, which may not appeal at all, but for some of you it does seem to be something you'd like to do. I really enjoy it when I've had the chance to do it before, and we'll try and make a Sudoku video that can appear on the channel. That reminds me, actually, I owe an email to last month's winner, who is game. So we need to make a video soon, so I must get onto that. Anyway, that's one thing. What else can I tell you about? I've got no birthdays to do, but I've got a couple of other announcements to do today. I will first mention that Mark is a viewer, long-term viewer, I think, Mark, who lives in Hamilton, Ontario, and is really looking to start some Sudoku meetups in that area. Talking about the area of Gage Park to those of you who watch from Hamilton, or indeed Ontario. Ontario is quite a big place, isn't it? I guess if you're at one side of Ontario and Gage Park is at the other side, that could be quite a long way. But anyway, if you're interested in meeting up with Mark to collaborate on things like puzzle hunts, drop us an email and we'll put you in touch. And good luck to all involved in that. Now, the other thing I'm going to mention is something I thought was rather cool, that there's a Slovenian puzzle maker by the name, I'm going to say Blaze. I could be getting the pronunciation of that wrong. I'm not very good at Slovenian pronunciation. But Blaze is responsible for puzzle games. I think some of you have recommended some of his puzzle games to us on the channel. Lock is one of them, L-O-K. Anyway, Blaze has a new book out, and I thought I might show you that. Hang on, can I do it? Oh, nearly. There we go. This looks really, it just looks appealing to me. It's a puzzle book, 100 handcrafted puzzles. So I thought some of you might be interested in that. So I'll try and remember to put a link to the book under the video, and you can check it out. I think there are some puzzles as well that you can have a look at to see if you might enjoy the whole thing. So there we go. That's all the news. Let's have a look at Marty's new puzzle. I think it's new anyway. It's certainly been recommended to us a lot. Not On. These are the rules of Marty's puzzle. We have got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we've got to draw a single snaking line connecting 2 particular cells to be discovered which forms a palindrome, i.e. its sequence of digits reads the same in either direction. The palindrome line should pass through the centres of cells and may move both orthogonally and diagonally, but may not branch or cross itself. So there's going to be some sort of, you know what I was about to do, which was absolutely ridiculous. I was about to draw that line in and say, this could be a palindrome. Of course, this couldn't be a palindrome. Let's think about why that's the case. Because if this was a palindrome, it would have to read, the same forwards and backwards. So this would be a valid palindrome line, but it would most certainly break the rules of Sudoku, because of course we'd have two of the same digit in the same row, and we can do wiggles in this, can't we, with our palindrome? So let's draw. I don't know if that would actually result in a. Well, let's see. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, and then we'd have to do another line at the end to make it the correct length. So something like that, I think, would be a valid palindrome. You can see if we read it from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Read it from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it reads the same in both directions. And I don't know if I broke Sudoku rules, but I tried not to. Now, there are two more rules that we have to obey. Arrows. A digit on an arrow, let's look at that one, indicates how many cells it sees in the indicated direction that are not on the palindrome. The arrow cell itself is not included in the count, so this cell would count up to 5 non-palindrome cells beneath it. This one would count up to 4 non-palindrome cells to its right, etc. That's a strange rule. And then we've got cages. Digits in a cage do not repeat. Well, that's normal killer Sudoku rules. And the clue in the top left corner indicates the total of any digits in the cage that are not on the palindrome. So let's look at this cage. That's a cage. Well, I was going to say whose digits sum to 8, whose digits might sum to 8 if all of those digits were not on the palindrome. Then those 3 cells would sum to 8. But if 2 of the digits were not on the palindrome, those 2 cells would sum to 8. And if 1 cell in this box was not on the palindrome, let's say that one, that would be an 8, is I think how it works. It's actually a bit weird, this, because my brain is telling me that the clues should be positive information about the palindrome, if you see what I mean, whereas they're not. They're telling us things about what isn't on the palindrome, which just feels odd. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I get to indulge in one of the great pleasures of puzzling life, which is to do battle with a Marty Sears puzzle. Well, okay, let's look at that. That must be where we start. 43. This must be something to do with the secret. Now, the secret of Sudoku is something I share with only my very favourite people. If you're watching this video, of course you're one of my favourite people. And the secret of Sudoku is that a complete Sudoku box, because of the rules of Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. And those digits sum to 45. 45 is the secret. It's the secret that we've all been searching for. Now, but apparently, hang on, how does this work? Well, in this box, which is covered by this cage, which apparently sums to 43, which is a very different number from 45, the 43 is summing the digits that are not on the palindrome. So there must be a 2 in this box that is on the palindrome and therefore doesn't contribute to the count of 43. And there's no other way of doing that. You can't miss 2 1s out of this box because there is only 1 1 in it to get to the difference between 45 and 43. We are looking for just a solitary 2, aren't we? Now, here's here's a question. I was going to say an interesting question. I might not need the qualifier there. Maybe this is just a question. Is the 2... Does the 2 have to be sort of on a naked edge? Maybe we don't know that until... Well, okay. Look, I was thinking, because the thing is with Marty Sears, you've got to be careful, because Marty would find it hilarious to set this puzzle up and then there to be a palindrome that was a solitary 2 in the middle of that box, and that would be the only cell that was on the palindrome. So we cannot assume anything in a Marty Sears puzzle, but I've just noticed this box here. Now that is it's a 3-cell cage that sums to 4, and if all of these digits were not on the palindrome, they couldn't only sum to 4, because even if they were as low as possible, they would still add up to 6 if they were 1, 2 and 3. So there is definitely a palindrome cell in there. There's definitely a palindrome cell in here. So we aren't looking at a 1-cell palindrome. Whatever's here has to somehow connect with the palindrome cell over here. It's not going to be like that, but something like that. But that means this cell here, or indeed this one, cannot be the palindrome cell in this 43 cage, because we couldn't get the palindrome out. You can't have 2 cells in this box that are on the palindrome. So there is a 2 in one of those cells. We should have a colour, shouldn't we, for not on the palindrome. I think I'll go for lime green, and then maybe we'll have to stick with purple for on the palindrome. But one of these cells exactly is on the palindrome. But there could be 2 cells in this one that are on the palindrome. Say this cell was a 4, and it wasn't on the palindrome. Then those 2 cells would be on the palindrome, and they could add up to anything. Yeah, this is weird. This is doing my head in, actually. Right, look at that 19 cage. All 3 digits in that cage must be off the palindrome, because if any one of them was on the palindrome, the other 2 or the other 1 would have to sum to 19, and even if they were 8 and 9, they would only sum up to 17. So all 3 of these are not on the palindrome. Both of those are not on the palindrome. We can't put a solitary 11 into one of these cells. At least some of this is not on the palindrome. I mean, that's true of any cage, isn't it? Because none of the cages has a total of 0. All right, let's try the arrows then. How do the arrows work? It's the same thing, but it's the cells pointed at by the arrow that are not on the palindrome. So what we probably want to start with this one, I would think. That looks like the arrow that's closest to an edge, if you see what I mean. It's pointing. I mean, that can only be a 1, 2, or a 3. It can be, if that's a 3, all those 3 cells are not on the palindrome. It can't be a 0, because 0 isn't a Sudoku digit. But say this was... okay. Oh, I see. Right, this is where we could have started, actually. Let's look at what we've also got a Sudoku constraint to obey. So here's a question. Is it possible that this cell is on the palindrome? I don't think so. Because if that cell's on the palindrome, surely the count of cells here that are not on the palindrome, and therefore goes into this digit, is going to be the same as the count of cells for this arrow that are not on the palindrome. We're going to be counting the same number of green cells here and putting that total in both of those cells which is going to break Sudoku. So this must be off the palindrome, and therefore make this have a one greater total than this. And this is lovely. This is lovely, because now this digit has to be 2, 3 or 4. Well, this is definitely, well, this is 3. I realised it wasn't 1, but it's actually better than that. If this is 1, we know this is 2, and that only leads to 3 of 15 for this cage of green cells. So there's no way this can be 1. There's no way this can be 2, because if this is 2, 3, this has to be a 10. So I think this has to be 3, this has to be 4, this has to be 8. All of these are off the palindrome, and this 3 is saying all of those are off the palindrome. So unless this is on the palindrome, all of these cells are off the palindrome. Because we couldn't have that on the palindrome, for example, if this wasn't, because then this couldn't connect to the 2 that we know is on the palindrome in that box. So this digit is 5 or 6, depending on whether this is on the palindrome or not. It might be these. Well, hang on, though. These two have the same property, don't they, that these two had? They are one different, because this one is counting all the greens in that set, and this one is counting all the greens in that set. The difference between this green. So these are 1 apart. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and this can't be 4, because then it would be the same as this. So this is at least 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. It can't be 8, can it? Because there's only 7 cells to the left of it. So this is 5, 6 or 7, and this is 6, 7 or 8. Oh, but... yeah, there. Marty's so clever. Look, this can't be 6. Because if this was 6, this would be 5, and this cell would be broken. Because remember, these are 1 apart. So making this 6 breaks this cell. So this isn't 6, this isn't 5. And now... remember, this is a consecutive pair of digits. Now, I'm going to say a fatuous truism now, but it sometimes helps me, at least, to think things through. A pair of consecutive digits always includes an odd and an even digit. So what's the odd digit on that pair? It must be 7. So it's either 7, 8, or it's 7, 6. So there's no 7 in the 12 cage, but the 12 cage could be 2 or 3 cells of greenliness, couldn't it? So if this was 6, this would be 5, and that would be on the palindrome. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two would be green. So all of this box would be green if this was 6. If that's 6, oh, then the whole row. If that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, and the whole row is green, and everything, row 7 and below, is all green. What about that digit then? Yeah, that digit's at least a 3, because it sees 3 greens already, and it could be as much as 5. So that's 3, 4 or 5. If all of those were green, it could be 5. And this one, well... oh, no, I see. Oh, goodness. Okay. How could it possibly be the case that this is 6? If this is 6, this is green. Let's just put that in. But now we know all of this is green as well. So all of these are green, and what number's going to go in here? It's going to be the same number as the digit above it, isn't it? So this is a palindrome number, and this is a 5. But now this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be a 6. and therefore that has to be a 7. So both of these have to turn green. These are green. And okay, this is 5. So look at this. Oh, this is so lovely. These two, this domino sums to 14 to make this cage work. Well, it can't be 5 and 9 because we've already got a 5 in the cage. So it's 6 and 8, and I've got an 8 here. So this is 8. Oh, I was going to say it's 8, not yellow. 8, that's 6. So yeah, okay, and that's interesting. So this 6 is saying all of those are now green. So this is either the end of the palindrome, or the palindrome is sort of dipping in and out of row 7. So actually, let's use the pen tool. You could do something like that, couldn't you? Now these cells are though all green, and this cage might be where we're meant to look next. That's a big old cage to get to 41's worth of digits. Okay, yeah. Imagine this entire cage was green, which it can't be, but let's just imagine that for a moment. It can't be entirely green, and the reason for that is that this palindrome cell is meant to connect to the 2 that's over there somehow, and it could never do it. This could never get out. So something in this box is on the palindrome, is purple. But how many cells could be purple? You can't. Well, we know that the maximum sort of total of digits that are not counted in this cage is 4, because the secret tells us all 9 digits add to 45. And this is saying that the green digits in this cage add up to 41. So what's the most we could make 6 green digits in here add up to? Well, that's going to be 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4, which is 39. It's not enough. So it must be 7. There must be 7 green cells counting in the 41, because it can't be 8 green cells counting, because then the purple couldn't collect to whichever one of these is purple. And it can't be 6. So it's exactly 7 of these cells is green, and 1 is purple, and that purple has to be the conduit that provides an exit for this. So I want to say it has to be that one. I mean, yeah, if it was this one, all of those would be green, and again the palindrome would be stranded. So I think that's the palindrome is growing like that. All of these are green, and now at least one of those has to be palindrome. This is really, it's very, and this is the end of a palindrome. This is the end of the palindrome now, this cell here. We're probably meant to do Sudoku, aren't we, actually? I've got an 11 cage here that can't be 3, 8 or 5, 6. So it's either 4, 7 or 2, 9. I'm not sure where to look. Oh, hang on, that can't be a... Oh, look, this is... We know this. We've forced it. It's got to be a 4. It's counting 4 green cells. We don't know whether it itself is green or palindrome. What about that digit? Yeah, look at this cage. Now, this could have had 1 green cell in it if that green cell was a 4, but this digit is counting towards the total of 4, but it isn't itself a 4. So it must be 2 digits summing to 4, because 3 digits summing to 4 is impossible. 1, 2 and 3 sum to 6, and it must be a 1, 3 pair, and that has to be a 1. This is very, very nice. So one of these digits is a 3 that's green, and one of them is a palindrome, so that it doesn't count towards the 4 total. And now I can place 3 in box 7 by Sudoku. Marty is a special setter. Now, this 11 cage is 4-7 now, because otherwise, imagine it wasn't. Where would you put 4 and 7 in box 7? They both have to go into this cell now by Sudoku because of the 4 and the 7 we've already placed in row 7. So I think these are 4-7. These are presumably 2-9 then. And these, the gaps in row 7, are 2, 5 and 9. Oh, no, that's absolute nonsense. Not 2, 5 and 9. We've already got the 5. 2, 8 and 9. Oh, sorry, yes. So a better question is, where is 8 in row 7? It's got to be there. So now our palindrome end is 2 or 9. So if this box did contain the other end of the palindrome, that would make total sense, because it could be a 2 with a 2 here. But not really sure where to look now. Wait a moment. What do we know about this 41 cage then? We know the 41. Yeah, we know the 41 is made up of 7 cells of greenliness that sum to 41. So the 2 digits that are not contributing to the 41 total are this digit and some other digit that's just missing from the cage that must sum up to 4. So they must be a 1-3 pair, but this one can't be a 3. So this has got to be a 1, and there is no 3 in this cage. So there is a 3. So what we've just deduced is that the 41 here, I mean, we could pencil mark it, but these digits, I'm not going to because it's just excessive, but those digits in the 41 cage are these green digits are all the Sudoku digits apart from 1 and 3. So this, we can't repeat 1 in the 41 cage, so there must be a 1 in the 8 cage, and there must be a 3 in the 8 cage, because there isn't a 3 in the 41 cage. So, but this now can't be 1, 3, 4 adding to 8 because of this. So, what does that mean? So that means that this cage... Well, we have to. I think the decision. Oh no! Wait. I was going to say the decision is how many cells in this cage are not on the palindrome. Now, if it's 1 cell, then that cell would be an 8, but that's not going to work because this cell is not an 8, and I know the 41 cage has an 8 in it, which must now be in one of these cells. So this doesn't just have 1 cell that's not on the palindrome. It doesn't have 3 cells that are not on the palindrome, because they would have to be 1, 3, 4 in order to add up to 8. So it's got 2 cells that are not on the palindrome. And those digits, therefore, this is either... I've got it. So this is either 1 and 7 adding up to 8, or it's 3 and 5, but it's not 3 and 5 because this digit cannot be a 5. So the 5 in box 5 is in, I mean, it's a ludicrous pencil mark, but it's in one of those positions. And because we know that there are 2 green digits in the 8 cage, 1 or 3 must be one of those digits, and it must now be, this must be 137. And that's not 3. Yeah, and it's the 3 that is on the palindrome, because it's the 1 and 7 that are adding up to 8. It would be so easy to make a mistake here. I really hope I haven't already made one. I am becoming acutely aware of how difficult it is to actually keep track of this. Now, what on earth is this 8 cage doing? It can't be a solitary 8 because you can't put 8 in it. It can't be, well, so it has to be 2 green cells. And it's not 1 7, it's not 3 5, so that's a 2 6 pair, and that means 6 is in one of these cells, because there isn't a 6 here in the 41 cage, and I know that there is a 6 in it. Oh, I tell you something. I know there's a 7 in my 41 cage, and I now know where that goes. This is beautiful. The logic is very difficult to get your head around, but we are actually doing it slowly, aren't we? Now, this is 2 3 9. Now, how does that work with 22? They definitely don't add up to 22, so that must be green. If all of those were green, that would be 14. Yeah, that must be what it is. How could we miss out any one of these digits and make this big enough to take the slack and to get the green cells in this box to add up to 22? Even if it was 9 and 3 here, that would only be 12. This would have to be a 10. That's not enough. So all of this is green. And now, well, now it looks like there's going to be very little palindrome in box. Well, I was going to say very few palindrome cells in box 1. That's not quite true. That could be palindrome. If the palindrome did something like that, that would work. What we can't have now is the palindrome going off a wandering into the cul-de-sac that is box 1, because it couldn't get out again. Because it would have to revisit its own cell, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's not allowed to cross itself, so it can't do that. So all we actually know, we don't know whether this is purple, but we do know that these are green. Presumably we've got to think about these two soon. But if that's 2 3 9, that's got to be 8. That was my calculation before. Now, so now it looks like we're getting an 8 very close to this 8 cage, which would mean if that was a green 8, there would be a palindrome cell in there. Oh, hang on. This column is almost entirely green, but I know I've got to get the palindrome line across here somewhere, so it's got to go through there. And then, well, then we don't, well, do we know? We then know that there's a 3 on the palindrome here, but I don't know it has to be there. It could be there if the palindrome did a little bit of a wander. But again, the palindrome has to go through, it has to get into box 6 somehow, and now it's getting really difficult for it to do it. This cell, this is beautiful. It's beautiful, because now the palindrome has to go through here to get to this box. In fact, where is the palindrome cell in box 6 now? It can't be down here. You can never get to those cells. It's got to be one of those 3, hasn't it? I think it has. I think all of these have to be green, because we just can't get to them. One of these is a purple 2. And this 13 cage now requires both of those to be green, because we can't write 13 into any one of these cells. So so these two digits add up to 13, and they're not 5, 8. So they're either 4, 9 or 6, 7. And that's not 4 by Sudoku, so that's not 9. And that's not 6 by Sudoku because of the 2 6 pairs, so that's not 7. Sorry, it's a bit rattly today with my windows. There's a storm brewing in the UK. Now... Okay. Now where do we look? Maybe I've got to go up there or this cell. Oh! What's this cell? That's at least a 4. It already sees 4. So that's got to be 4, 5 or 6. Oh, no, no. No, is that true? Yes, it is true. It's an arrow cell. But it could be on the palindrome, couldn't it? So it wouldn't contribute. Ah, no, that was true. If this was purple, that could have been true, but then this would have had to be a green 6, which it can't be. So I think that's green, but it could just be a 6. And then all of these would be green, and that would be on the palindrome, and then that could be any number. So, okay. So are there any obvious places that I'm meant to look now? I know at least one of those is on the palindrome. It's not obvious to me where I look now. It might. I haven't really looked. I've noted that these are here, but they don't look terribly appetizing because there's so much real estate below them. Let's look at this one. At least this is slightly more fulfilled. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of these is green because it's a green 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7. So that's 6 or 7. Which... So if this was 6, this would be green. And then we would know exactly how this moved through box 4. It would have to go to this cell, then this cell. So the palindrome would start like that and then go to one of these. And if this was 6, that would be 2. And that would not be 6, so that would have to be green. Okay, and this one I think is going to be more open to question. This one, it's at least 4, and it can't be 8. So I'm going to say 4, 5, 6, or 7. Which is, oh no, it can't be 4. Because if it's 4, all of those would be on the palindrome, and then this should be a 0, this cage, and it's an 8. So it's definitely not 4. It's 5, 6, or 7. And that probably is meant to trigger something in my brain that makes me go, aha! It's most certainly not doing that. 1 in this box has to be in one of those 2 cells. Maybe you can't put 2 greens in there. If that's 2 greens, it couldn't be 3, 5. It couldn't be 1, 7. It would have to be 2, 6. If this is 2 greens. Don't think if that was 2, 6, that couldn't be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, hang on, something in this column is purple. Because I can't make all of those cells green. To do that, this would have had to have been an 8, and it's not. I see. This is very cool. Right. No jokes about things I find cool. Surely, if something in this column is purple, then the palindrome has to get into this column and get back out again. Surely that's true. It can't go in and out of column 1 to the same cell in column 2. The palindrome will cross itself to do that. So there must be at least 2 palindrome cells in column 2. Which means this must be a palindrome cell, because there's only one palindrome cell in the 4 cage. So that's palindrome. And I think we must go directly past go. Do not collect £200. Because yeah, we can't now visit this column. Let's say we were going to that cell. Yeah, we can't sort of go. There's just no way. We're going to be doing something like that, aren't we? So those two join together. And okay, and the thing we're going to get from that is this digit, which is now a 6. Oh, that's very, very interesting for here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, so this isn't 6. This is now 2. This isn't 6. This isn't 6. So this is green. This can't be a 4 because it would be a 2, 4 pair, and that would break this. So this is 5. This is 1. This is 7, which means there's a lot of green in this column. There's only one purple. Well, yes, okay. And we have to get to the purple in this column from whichever one of these is purple. So it can't be that one. That's impossible. In fact, and not only that, it can't be this one. Because if we go dub-de-dub-de-dub-de-dub, we've got to go from there to there in one step, and that won't work. So one of these is purple. And this, oh, see, that could be 8, because, oh, hang on, how does this work? Oh, we don't know. This is either, we said this 8 cage was either a 2, 6 pair, or it had a green 8 in it. So that is 2, 6, or 8. But if that was purple, it could be any digit. And what do those do? 1, 4, 5 to finish off box 1. This is not a 1. Okay, this is not a 2. How is this not? Hang on, this is a 5 now as well, which must be 1. Okay, so one of these, exactly one of those is purple. Oh, right, that's lovely. Right, so if one of these is purple, both of those are purple is what I'm going to claim. Because again, it's the same thing we were looking at in column 2. Once we go into a cell, whichever one of these is purple, we've got to come out of it again. Unless, actually, here's a point that I hadn't thought about. Is it? No. Okay, I was suddenly thinking, could this be the end of the palindrome? In which case it wouldn't be true that both of those had to be purple. But this cannot be the end of the palindrome. Because that would imply that we've got to get through this cell. We'd have to sort of go here, 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 and then back into here to go up there. Like, we can't do that. So both of those are purple. And now, well, now we have to do this, don't we? And therefore we have to do that in order to keep the palindrome sort of going. So the palindrome is going to pop up here into one of these, then come down here, and then it probably goes there, but it might not need to. Maybe it could go here and then sort of doodle around here and finish here, or it could go and finish up here perhaps. Yeah, it could do. If that was a 9 and that was a 9, that might work. Okay, so probably what we're meant to do now is take some stock of Sudoku. That could be completely and utterly wrong, but let's just have a think about that for a second or two. Yeah, that hasn't gone well for me, has it? I mean, the other thing we might have to think about at some point, it's quite tricky with this. I was thinking about the length of the palindrome, but we don't know. You don't know the length or orientation of the palindrome. If we knew for sure the palindrome ended here, that would be useful. Actually, that would be very useful, because then, if that was true, it could be a 9 here, but the second digit would have to be a palindromic 1, and you can't get a palindromic 1 from there. I think that might have to be a 1. In fact, hang about, how does this work at all? How do you ever get a 1 on the palindrome? Somewhere in this puzzle, the digit on the palindrome here is a 3, isn't it? It's not a 1. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Right. So what we're meant to do, I think, is to appreciate it. And Marty, this is another beautiful idea, I think. We are meant to appreciate that although we have no clue at all what the shape of the palindrome is, or how it moves, or how long it is, or where it goes, we can say for sure the second cell on it is a 1. And we do know that box 5's palindromic digit is a 3. So the candidate boxes to contain the other side of the palindrome's 1 are this box in theory, but obviously this cell here is the 1. So there is no equivalent to this cell in box 3. And look at this box. Well, I've got a 1 pencil marked here. Actually, not there. I'm seeing. Why do I? Yeah, because there's a 1 in there. So again, there is no purple 1 in this box. So there is a purple 1 in this box, and that 1 is the second cell on the palindrome from the other direction. So it is adjacent to the end of the palindrome. Now, I want to say that's going to force this to be a 1, but that might not be true. I just want to think about this a little bit. I mean, I have to visit this box. I have to. But if I go up a wandering up here and then drop down into it, then there should be a 1 here. I mean, I might be going crazy, but how is it the case One of these is purple, and is the... No, that's not true. I was going to say is the other end of the palindrome. I think it is going to be the other end of the palindrome, but at this point we can't state that. Although maybe we can, because we need this 1 somewhere. We know that... I mean, neither of these can be the end, can be a 1. Because that would imply that this is the other end of the palindrome. But then we've never visited this box, which we know is wrong. There is a definite purple 2 in this box. So this cannot be the end of the palindrome. This cannot be the end of the palindrome, because we can't go 2 cells of palindrome here and then sort of flick round. Yeah, this has to be a 1. That is the equivalent of this 1. So 1 cell from this point is this digit. Well, if it was here, we'd never visit this box. So it's not there, it's there, and that is the other end of the palindrome. And I don't think any of these cells can now be on the palindrome. This digit is 2 or 9, and is the same digit as this one. Oh, and we know it's a 2 because of the 43 here. So we know this is a 2. So we know one of those is a 2. And now, do we know that we've got a 3 here? What's... No, that's wrong. That's wrong. The 3 here, and there is a 3 here, is green to make the 4 total work. So we know, in fact, we know that's not a 3. Okay. Oh, so what? Hang on. So we're going to go here. Here. So one of these is the equivalent of this. And then we pop up here. So we must be able to get a complete count now, can't we? And work out how long the palindrome is, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know whether it comes into... Oh, hang on. We do know. It does come in here. Yeah, it does come in here. Because we know that there's a 3 in here that is on the palindrome. Well, it can't be there now, because we can't get to that cell. So it must be there. That's got to be 3. This is a green 1 or 7. The palindrome now goes like this. And I just want to do the count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the 7th cell on it is the midpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the midpoint. So that should be a 4. And the equivalent of this. These 2 digits are the same digit. Let's give those a quick label up. In fact, we can probably... should we do Sudoku on that digit, maybe? Yes, we should. Look, we've got all these digits looking at this digit. So this is 5, 6, 8, or 9. It's not 8. It's or 6. It's not 8 or 6. Can it be... It's got to be the same as this digit, so can we do better than that? 5 or 9? Let's just think about this. 5 or 9? That digit's a 6, I've just noticed, because there's a 4 looking at it. So this digit is a 7. This digit's a 7. This digit's a 1. This digit's a 7. This digit's a 1 by Sudoku. Suddenly we're cooking with gas here. What about this? 1, 2, 3, 5. Where's 6 in box 8? There. 5 and 9 are a pair. So is that... But those are the same, aren't they? So that... Oh, okay, hang on. Let's think about that. So these digits... Oh, no, hang on. It's this one. Hang on, what's going on? Hang on, I don't know. How did I get this as being 5 or 9, or have I just mislabeled it from here? I think I've mislabeled it. That's the third digit on the palindrome, which is going to be a digit in one of these two places. Yeah, this was the logic was this was the middle of the palindrome, so those two digits are the same, these two digits are the same. Now, when I got this down to 5 or 9, did I look at that cell when I should have looked at that one? Let's check this again. So this was 5, 6, 8, 9. So it's 5 or 9 just by reference to those cells. So this is 5 or 9. Now, no, it didn't matter. This cell is also useless actually, or it doesn't see a 5 or a 9, and in fact this cell's worse because it doesn't see those 5s and 9s, so I can't even play games down that way, can I? So there's going to be a digit here that's the same as the digit here, and then the digit that's purple here is the same as this digit. So what's this digit? By Sudoku, it is 3, 5, 8, or 9. So this, well, it's not 3, because 3 is the green digit. It's not the purple digit in here. It's not 8, because there's an 8 looking at this. So this is 5 or 9. Hang on, I'm getting confused. I didn't... I'm sure that when I looked at this, I was intending to look at this, but somehow that one seems to have been, so I may have looked at this one. I'm not sure what I did, but anyway, I've now got a 5-9 pair in column 5, and I can get rid of 5 from here, and I must know what these digits are. 3 and 8, I'm going to claim. So that digit's a 9. And we're going to get a 4 in the corner of the grid. And, okay, so these digits are a 3 and a 5 or a 9, depending on whatever this one is. So that is a 3, 5, 9 triple in box 4, which makes this a 4, this a 5, this a 1 by Sudoku, this a 4, this a 7, 3, 5, 9, this a 2, this a 9. These squares are 2, 6, 8. Oh, no, that's awful. That's awful, because if this was green, then that could be a 2, 6 pair. But if this was 8, that would be a 2 or a... Ah, no, that doesn't work. Right, so what we have to do now is to compare the purple digit here with the possible purple digit here and find an accommodation. And the only common digit here is 8, isn't it? So 8 is the palindrome digit. So 8 can't be the green digit. So it must be 2 green digits in the 8 cage, adding up to 8, which means these are 2 and 6 and include no purplification. That is a purple 8. And therefore, one of these is a purple 8. But that, I don't actually see how we're going to know that, because it could be in either place, I think. But I tell you something, this being an 8 means that can't be. It can't go 2, 1, 5 or 9 here, because we couldn't then get to that cell. So this must be the purple digit, which is the 5 or 9 digit, and this must be a green 3, which means one of those is a green 3 by Sudoku. I was going to say one of these is a green 1 by Sudoku. I've already pencil marked that. Okay, so maybe we meant to do or extend the 5s and 9s down there, look, because 2, 1, These two are the same digit. Now that's B, so that's definitely A therefore, so that's B. So B is placed in box 5, I think. B, B, B. So it's got to be there. And that is 5 or 9, and also B. Now what about A? It's not. A is in one of those two. But I don't know if we can actually exactly position it. But we've got a 5-9 pair now in column. Oh, I've got a hang on, I've got a 3 here. Hadn't seen this. So 3 and 8 go in, and we know 8 is the purple, and therefore green. So our palindrome line is now it's an M. It's an M for Marty. Look at that. It is. I bet he's done that on purpose. Oh, this is very funny. Okay, so we found M for Marty hidden in the grid. There's definitely a 9 over here. That digit must be a known digit, I think, because we've sort of got everything in this column. The digit we've not put in is 6, which I'm going to claim has to go there in column 4. So that's a 6 and that's a 2. And now that seems to have to be a 2. Yeah, we're probably... Oh, we must know the middle digit now of the Sudoku. Possibly. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like it has to be an 8 to me. So these two digits are 4, 5, 9, I think. Now, what can we do with that? There's a 4 in one of those cells, and the other one is the A digit? Okay. It might be this 12 cage. That might be where all the magic has to happen. Where should we look now? What about, okay, let's try row 4, where we need 5, where's 6 in row 4? It's got to go here. So that digit is B, because it is 5 or 9, but it's the B 5 or 9. Now that digit can't be 5 or 9 because it sees A and B. What's that digit then? One or no, this is it. Look, this digit, I now know what it is. It's a naked single, because in the row it sees 5 digits, but it also sees the 5-9 pair, so it sees 5 and 9 as well, which means it's only 1 or 4, but it sees 1 in the column. So that is 4. These two digits sum up to, well, these two digits are 3 and 5, because they have to add up to 8, and they aren't 1, 7 or 2, 6, and we can do the order. No 3 in the corner. No 3 in the corner today. This is good, because now my 5 tells me B is 5. So wherever we see B, we can write 5 into the grid. And that means A is 9 wherever we see A. That's a 2 in the corner. 1, 9. 1 here using the power of Sudoku. 3 here using the power of Sudoku. B was 5, wasn't it? This is not 2. That is not 3. These two squares are a 4-9 pair. So this digit, well, where's 4 in row 5? It's got to go there. So that's 4, that's 9. That's 9 by Sudoku. That's 2, 2, 3, 9. 4, 7, 8. Trying not to sneeze. 4, 7, 8. No, sneezing would be bad, Simon. This is very bad. Very bad. Naughty Simon. 3, 7, 8 here. 7, 8. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, it is. How many people? Loads of people have solved that. Was that 358 in 18 days? That's a testament to how popular Marty is. That's very funny. It's very funny that you get a purple M in the grid. I'm quite sure that's deliberate. And is actually better than if there'd just been a solitary palindromic 2 in the middle of box 6. Marty, very clever indeed. How long is that? It's taken me over an hour. That's just flown past. As time flies when you're having fun. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.